It's alright, have fun.
Let go of your worries and join us wherever you are. Escape to the unknown. Let's celebrate under the stars. Dark nights fade to sunlight. Embrace the mysteries of life. Come away, explore the wonders of each new day.
Hard times, you're not thinking logically. Hope your grandma hits the lottery or moves the family out of poverty. My love for people runs deep like an odyssey. Obviously it's God's love inside and not me. Possibly you could feel it with his philosophy, so you don't fall when your turntables get wobbly. Honestly, on guard, man, you gotta be. The enemy steals your joy like a robbery. Honest be, I was always where the robbers be. Mine was deep just like Prodigy. But if my faith in astrology know nothing about astronomy, I guess I just blamed it all on my phrenology. If it wasn't for the cross, there would be no cross on me. Now I die daily, living the life of modesty. Probably in church you spotted me. That's where the squadron be. All love to my BCs.
Let go of your worries and join us wherever you are. Escape to the unknown. Let's celebrate under the stars. Dark nights fade to sunlight. Embrace the mysteries of life. Come away, explore the wonders of each new day. Let's celebrate under the stars. Explore the wonders of each new day.
He make you feel good, make you feel fine. His grace and his mercy always on my mind. I can't waste time, his time is divine. I always feel good when I worship Christ. Psalm 52, verse 8. I'm planting in his garden, I'm straight. I'm trusting in his love, I ain't giving no breaks. And I'ma give it all in life's race. There's joy in my heart, it take the pain away. His sunshine through the clouds, talking better days. So taste and see, all you need is faith. Stay expected, he'll change your face. He'll make you feel like a sweepstake. All good like that cheesecake. You see the joy all in your face. It make you feel good when you receive grace.
To have hope for tomorrow. To cast away your fears. When you let it roll off of your shoulder. When you throw away your care. Let go of your worries and join us wherever you are. Escape to the unknown. Let's celebrate under the stars. Dark nights fade to sunlight. Embrace the mysteries of life. Come away, explore the wonders of each new day. Let's celebrate under the stars. Explore the wonders of each new day.
Hi, Jonathan. This is Miss Jenny. I'm calling to say hi and see how you're doing in New York, in Brooklyn, New York. Hope all is well with you. Hope you're having a good stay and you're getting to know what your trip is all about. God bless you. Have a safe day and call when you get a chance. Marcus is coming along, talking now.
You gotta try. You gotta try.
Have a good night. God bless.
Smile for that good life. If you want that good life, I'ma tell the truth, cause it only gets better. We about that good life. Jesus is that good life. Christ is the joy and the source of our pleasure. Smile, so smile through the rainy days. Yeah, so smile. It's gonna be a brighter day. Yeah.
I came a long way from the basement where liquor hits the pavement for homies that ain't make it. Beatbox ciphers and b-boys breaking. Street dreams vividly seeing the team make it. 2-finger rings, rope chains and thick bracelets. And the big body bends with things that we were chasing. Product of the streets, my mindset basic. Forgot to tell us only 2 and 3 of us will make it. I did my time, violated probation. Took your boy 20 years to finally see the matrix. Saved by his grace, I call that a facelift. Now faces, living that good life, it's amazing. There's more to this than chips, chicks, and blazing. I hope these written scripts give kids that revelation. From lyrical abrasions to spiritual lacerations. The hopes is break the chains and deliver a casting.
Smile for that good life. If you want that good life, I'ma tell the truth, cause it only gets better. We about that good life. Jesus is that good life. Christ is the joy and the
I told him, get back, don't touch me, I got it. Deep in the woods, I'm ducked off in a cottage. I'd rather keep it in house like it's grounded. I'm letting loose if I'm ever surrounded. I sacrifice just to show that I'm silent. If God in control, then why he allow it? Pressure made damage, you know how we rock it. Characters, how you act when it's chaotic. I know the difference from molehills and mountains. You counted me out cause you not good at counting. Don't handle the money cause you bad with numbers. You not good with math, so your grade steady falling. I don't want trouble, but ready to rumble. My brothers come running whenever I call them. Thought I was finished, but I'm too resilient to keep it a trillion. I'm just getting started, I just keep on rolling. I just keep on rolling, I keep getting better, I keep getting stronger. Arms getting swollen from gym every morning. At first I didn't see it, but I kept on going. God told me sit back and know what they posting. Just look at they fruit, cause that's how you gon' know them. Most of you dead to me, cause you ain't growing. I hop on the beat and start running like Noah. I manifest while I beat on my chest. I'm a soldier, a soldier, a soldier, a soldier. I'm a soldier, left a message on red like October. I'm the grandson of Isaiah Moses. God put me to the side and said, don't tell them lies, you can't be like them cause you were chosen. From the swamp like, ooh, that's a nice boulder. I'm a hot boy, but somehow I'm colder. Your words don't mean nothing, it's on the 3 dots like it's golden.
This ain't entertainment, no. They don't care if you rap or you famous. Automatic the shot when I aim it, you can't see the picture, get Tony to paint it. In the trenches, I'm stepping, it's dangerous. Lot of people not what they be claiming. Lot of birds in the trap and they singing. I seen them come clean up the block like it's maintenance. Sanitizing the scene and them boys and all white like they got it. I told them get back, don't touch me, I'm bout it. I keep it on me, but don't promote violence. He tried to take something out, he sold out his body. Ask who the realest, we who they acknowledge. Versus grade A, but I didn't go to college. They say the weakest is always the loudest. I'm flexing my muscle whenever I'm quiet. They might start a riot, you losing like dice. I'm winning beginning, I'm just getting to it. Never mistake it, they said I could make it. By the time I was 10, I had already knew it. Had conversations with Dub in the basement, that mean in the bottom like Nike, just do it. I just keep on rolling, I just keep on rolling. I keep getting better, I keep getting stronger. Keep going longer, we swerving Daytonas. We got it forever, just not for a moment. Keep having visions, you make bad decisions, but you cannot quit it. How bad do you want it? Pain on my neck and my wrist, and they like when it glisten. I work hard for this, so I flown it. No leasing, I own it. I told ya I'm on it. A soldier, I told ya, I told him. Jeez. You get the upper hand. Shots getting thrown, so I had to duck. I'm so proud, I ain't switching plans. Ain't switching plans. Yeah, uppercut. Chuck a haymaker, do it for the land. The devil is a liar and a wanted man. Gotta call back up and it's on the man. That's on the man. Yeah, uppercut. Ever cry for help. Name a fighter who has never ever fought and fell. Name a top chef who has never ever burned himself. And name an artist who ain't struggling with mental health. Shadows around me and I'm feeling uncanny. Flowers blooming in baskets, only to be on caskets. Death is looming above. What am I really made of? Fighting every flashback, trying to get the last laugh. Uppercut, I ain't gon' let you get the upper hand. Shots getting thrown, so I had to duck. I'm so proud, I ain't switching plans. Ain't switching plans. Yeah, uppercut. Chuck a haymaker, do it for the land. The devil is a liar and a wanted man. Gotta call back up and it's on the man. That's on the man. Yeah, uppercut.
It's your boy Crescendo, and we are live at Radio UNT Studios. I got my man Made in the building.
What's up, man?
What's good, man?
Long, man.
It's been forever, bro.
About 6 years, 5 years.
Bro, it's been a minute. Last time I saw you was at Avila show with my man Samwise.
Yeah, that was a while ago.
It was a minute, bro. So I'm excited to do this here live in the studio. Able to do something live and connect. You just dropped a single.
Trap Regret, yes, featuring Young JC, man. That's out. Go get that on all platforms: Spotify, YouTube, Apple Music, etc.
Of course, man. But let's just dive into it. I mean, it's been a crazy past couple of months. It's been a crazy past couple of years. We got people going for president now.
Yeah.
COVID, you know. And so, I just want to, let you know, and, here at The Hype, we're all about keeping up with current events. How are you feeling with everything that's going on? Well, how's it changed your perspective on doing music?
Man, I mean, it's changed my perspective on doing life, man. Just being able to, I think we live in a culture where everything is so fast paced, and everybody is like manipulated by this concept of instant gratification. One of the things that happens so fast. So I feel like God made the world stand still, and we had to actually think. Like, if you don't like being home with your wife, you have to face that. If you don't like being home with your kids, you have to face that,
Yo, big facts.
For some people who, dislike their jobs, now they can sit back and say, hey, what do I really love to do?
Bro, it's true. It's true. And I think, there's that positive of self-revelation that came through with everything, with us staying at home, with us getting closer to our families, with us understanding that our home is our home, and like what we allow, what do we allow entering into our home? What do we allow? And then there's that other side to where if we weren't always on social media before, I think a lot of people dove deeper into it.
Yeah,
and for us artists, I think the thing is you also have to create content for your social media.
Right.
So like without the shows, without the events,
it
was artists realizing, okay, what am I saying with my media? What am I saying? What am I doing with my music? And me personally, I had a tour got canceled. I dealt with that, but like for me personally, I'm back at it again. I'm figuring out how do we navigate this world.
Right.
I just got booked for a show August 29th. And it's out in Tampa. Obviously we're gonna do masks, and then we're trying to do pre-sale tickets,
right,
just to make sure that there's not more people that show up.
Has to happen. We have to move to make some kind of revenue, man. I think for me, as far as like making us dive more into social media as artists, it's made me realize like what are my strong points. So I began just speaking more about certain things, whether it's God, whether it's having faith. And I've realized that I've been able to like cultivate this fan base, not people who just know me for my music, but now people who know Made, who actually know who I am as an artist. And I think that's one of the most powerful things. Music is such a small part of it. And we're living in times now where people need more than just music. They need hope. They need faith.
Big facts.
And that's definitely, that's what I'm trying to cultivate. Like on my social media, when you see it, you see faith, you see motivation. You see all of these things, and it's made me realize that my strong suit is speaking. It's really connecting with people outside the music.
Oh man, and I think whether you're an artist or whether you are just somebody just browsing through media, I think this is a chance for you to make a voice for yourself.
Yes.
And I think you don't have to be a preacher. You don't have to be a singer. You don't have to be an artist. This is a time when I feel, I spoke with Nowadays last week,
right,
and we said it leveled the playing field for everyone.
Yeah,
so even if you're a major artist,
doesn't matter,
and you're an indie artist down here, y'all both have to use Facebook now. You'll both have to use Twitter. You'll both have to use Instagram, and use your platforms and figure out what you're gonna do with those platforms.
Right.
I know it also, you know, with all the injustice that's been happening, you know, within the communities, you know, recently, even I think even today, another boy got shot in the Florida Mall by a cop, and there's a lot to take in with that. How do you think that has also affected the way you view media? Because you can, like, for me personally, it hurts to see Christians numb to it. That's for me personally.
You know, I could speak from that aspect of, you know, being numb to it. Just where I grew up at, like, people die every day, and you become desensitized to it. It's almost like, oh, he got killed. Oh, okay, you know. But when George Floyd died, man, it hit different. I think the world everybody felt it. Everybody felt it.
Oh yeah.
I saw every culture. I found every race speaking out about it, and you know, I had to realize, like, man, have I become numb? But then I actually started to feel the depression. I just started to feel the weight of the people, and I'm gonna be honest, man. I was angry for a couple days, maybe 2 days, man. Just depressed, just with the lights off, just like, man, racism is still here. Racism is still alive, you know, and it's like, you know, speaking of that though, you know, the bigger picture is evil, man. That's the bigger, evil don't have no color. That's the bigger picture. You got black people down, you got white people down, Hispanic people. Evil doesn't have a color.
Oh yeah.
And so now it's like, I think it forces people to be like what side are you on? Like, was the cop wrong for restraining him, or was George Floyd wrong for being in the wrong place at the wrong time? And it's like pick your poison. But the truth is that we lost another life, man.
Yep.
Whether it's a black life or whatever life it is, we lost another life, and it hurts.
Oh yeah, and I think for me, it's tough because when these situations happen, you know, and you can't, like, I feel like a lot of us, and you know, especially, you know, the more logical people, they'll try and break down the scenario, and we lose the heart behind it. You know, if I tell you, oh well, George Floyd was a criminal beforehand, or if I tell you the cop was, you know, the cop was abusive beforehand, you know, there's so many things like that factor into it. And yes, there's like so many things that go into like these situations that we can't like break down, and we can't just say it's black and white,
right? Exactly.
And we can't just say it's simple and clear as day,
right?
So again, my heart goes out, and I think the thing that hurts me most is when people are apathetic to it. They're just numb to it, you know. And I think, and it's not just so much like, well, I don't, like, when they want to speak out on it, they almost speak out like that person deserved it.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and that to me is like, I don't think anyone deserves that. You know, everyone deserves their place in court. Everyone deserves their place, whether they're innocent or guilty. And I think that's probably one of the bigger things that, like, let's break that down. Like, you know, let's stop for a second, because, you know, I know you're worried about the political agendas at play, because there is,
of course.
I mean, we're in the political season right now where everything is being cultivated, where if I don't wear a mask into the store, I might get beat up,
right?
You know. And then there's also the other side of it that's like, break down the statistics. Is this a danger to everyone?
Right.
You know, and there's both sides. You know,
as a black man, and I know I'm not the only black man feeling it. It's like, you know, if I walk outside them doors today, am I going to come back alive? Who wants to, like, the weight of that? Like, I felt that pressure, and I didn't tell anybody about it. I didn't tell my wife about it, and it was just like, man, we're living in those kind of times. And it's like, we all can talk about the problem, but like, what is the solution? Like, we got to come to the realization we have to build an infrastructure in which we all can thrive, so nobody is left out of the strategy. nobody is left out. Like, and everyone talks about, you know, social integration, but like there is no social integration without economic inclusion. It's, you know.
Yeah, and I can feel you on that. I was born in Miami, raised in Chicago. You know, my parents moved me down to Florida because they didn't want me to, you know, grow up in that life. You know what I mean? Like, and get trapped into it. Because the thing is, it's a trap in the sense that, like, you get used to certain luxuries, and I say luxuries like they are luxuries, but they aren't. You know what I mean? Like,
trap regret, man. That's
So with that being said, before we dive deeper into that, I want them to hear Trap Regrets. I want them to hear Fantasyland as well.
Okay.
So I want them to hear both, and then we'll get deeper into Made and Made music. Appreciate and what you about, bro.
Appreciate it, man.
All right, we live on the hype. Let's go.
Got that vibe, boy.
I used to do it all for the cash. I swear that money used to come fast, but that money didn't last. I like to welcome y'all to my past. 7, 14, 28, oh 112, 224, 448 pounds. We used to get down. It wasn't enough money to go around. It ain't no love in these streets. I was a hustler, I used to stay with my heat. Man, I stayed in some beef. The more I did it, it all got deep. I had the shawty in that photo. I was crazy in the range, in and out of traffic. You know I did my thing, and it was all for the image. Bullets flying everywhere, and I ain't talking scrimmage. I told y'all from the beginning, I was losing and I thought I was winning. I used to do it all for the cash. I swear that money used to come fast, but that money didn't last. I like to welcome y'all to my past. 7, 14, 28, oh 112, 224, 448 pounds. We used to get down. It wasn't enough money to go around.
I was trapping by myself until them grams gone. They gon' scream that they love you till that bag gone. I was trapping, I was getting it out my mama home. Everybody say they down, but I feel alone. Fast money, bad money, bad money. Count it up until the money. Oh, said I had to get that check up. We gon' stack it to the last life, last life. Oh, wow. I stack my cheese and paper just like Legos. All that pain I had to let go. 20 racks on the cases, case closed. Stayed in the field in the same clothes.
I used to do it all for the cash. I swear that money used to come fast, but that money didn't last. I like to welcome y'all to my past. 7, 14, 28, oh 112, 224, 448 pounds. We used to get down. It wasn't enough money to go around. My brother had a new Chevy every summer. You would've thought I had the flu, how I stayed under. He was a hustler for real though, 6-figure guy. I don't know if he had meals though. He had the 40 in that photo. He was crazy in the range. He was in and out of traffic. He always did his thing, and that's why I respected him. I would've did anything to keep protecting him. And we made it out the streets now. Not everything we do is legit now. I used to do it all for the cash. I swear that money used to come fast, but that money didn't last. I I like to welcome y'all to my past. 7, 14, 28, oh, 112, 224, 448 pounds. We used to get down. It wasn't enough money to go around.
Yeah. We are back live on the hype. We've got Made in the studio.
Yo.
So Made, we were talking over the break and everything like that. The song Trap Regrets. It's a real song. And what people don't understand is coming out of that lifestyle, coming into the church and how what you're expected of. I think for a lot of people, it's difficult.
Yeah.
And I'll say it's like extremely hard to go from cursing, drinking, smoking to nothing. Like when you step into some churches, if you even look like you or smell like it's like cold turkey. They expect it, and
it's unrealistic expectations, man, on people who are imperfect.
And what I've understood about who God is and who Jesus is come as you are, and when those convictions come, they'll come hardcore.
Exactly.
Like, and so for me personally, like I grew up in church, but I grew up in Chicago, I grew up in Miami, then I moved to Orlando, I lived on the east side. So, like, I want to say I grew up privileged. I grew up in
right.
Through high school, I was living in a trailer park. Like, I grew up around it. I grew up around the cursing. I grew up around the drugs. I grew up around it.
Right.
But at the same time, my parents, I kept myself mainly going to youth groups to help me through that. But then there's, I've met people in my life that, they finally give their heart to God, but it's difficult because the expectations.
And like that's why I feel like my music, it falls in the middle. Like there's a gap. The church is having a hard time relating to the streets, and the streets is definitely having a hard time relating to the church. And what's crazy is that, man, this marks 10 years since I've sold any drugs, man, and that was just a turning point in my life. And I think that just coming from that mentality, that one thing you have to understand is that change, it takes time.
Mm-hmm.
It takes time, and you can't rush the process. And what's crazy is that the whole time while I was selling drugs in high school or whatever, dude, I was going to the church. I was going to church 2 times a week.
Yep.
Still in my Bible, still trapping, still selling drugs, still doing what I was doing. But in that time, man, God never left me. He was still with me.
Mm-hmm.
Still felt him close to me. Even though I was doing what I was doing, he was still close to me. And so this song is more so not for the church. This song is for the streets, for the ex trap boys who've become to know that God is real, to know that we can go legit, that we can start legitimate businesses that creates income for our families and to employ other people.
Yeah.
So that's what it's about now. Is all the real gangsters and drug dealers, they either dead or in jail. And I'm blessed to be where I'm at, man. If somebody would have told me 10 years from now I'll be running my own business, I'll be married with a wife and a kid, I wouldn't believe you, man.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Because my destiny is just my destiny was definitely jail or hell.
Bro, and that's the thing. God calls you out of where you're at, and he brings you to a new place and restores you. And this is the thing, like, and like we were talking before, like, I want people to realize that, okay, you may be struggling with drinking, you may be struggling with smoking, you may be struggling with anything that you're dealing with, but don't make it the reason why you can't come to church. I think
that's why. This is why though, because like sin, everybody speaks about sin so much. All sin literally means is missing the mark. You're just missing the mark. It doesn't mean you're a demon, or it doesn't mean that you're a devil because you're not perfect. You're just missing the mark. And we have to stop condemning people. Like, that's the thing I love about Jesus, man. He went to where people was. He ate with them. He drank with them. He went into their world. And that's what I'm about. I'm about going into your world and helping you to pull out. Because sometimes we get trapped just being in our circumstances, just even in our spiritual circumstances. It's like you could take slavery, right? You could take the person out of slavery, but it takes so much time to take slavery away from the person.
Oh yeah.
So even if you do come from the streets, even if you are an addict, it doesn't matter like where you come from. Like, if you're going to say I'm a Christian and I believe in God, your job is to literally go and walk with people through the process. And so just working at a recording studio, man, I get to do that. Some of these dudes come right from the halfway house and they come record with me.
Wow.
And it's like, and I have a chance to witness to them and to show them like, hey man, there's a better way. I've been there and I've done that. But let's be faithful to our wives now. Let's raise our kids right. Let's do something different than what we've been doing, you know?
I think with a lot of how we treat our situation, whether it be, you know, doing music, speaking life into people's lives when it comes to like the changes, I think as a community we have to be more willing to meet people where they are. Like we said, Jesus did. You know me, I do the Verb and everything like that. The Verb has always been focused on meeting people where they're at. So it's not conventional. It doesn't always have a prayer. It doesn't always have a preacher. It doesn't have the Western ideology of what a service looks like. And I've actually had people come to me and say, man, that was beautiful. Like, I don't go to church, and I came here tonight and this impacted my life.
Right.
You know? And so I know it's not about me why I do any of this, you know? And when it comes to the, you know, the hype and what we talk about and everything like that, you know, I try and pick artists that are in love with what they do, but more so on and off stage, you know, whether they're struggling with something or whether they're doing what they're doing, they're still trying to edify God.
Right.
I've chose some artists that are just from the streets and brought them here and just talk with them because I like to understand all perspectives. You know what I mean?
Right.
Knowing where you come from and knowing where you can go, that's, I think, what, like, the conversation needs to start, you know? Because when you meet someone where they're at, you want to know who they are first. You don't want to just be like, you need to change your way. You need to do this. And you need to do that.
And it's very difficult to do that if you don't tell them, like, your process. Like, what happened to you? Like, what made you change? You didn't just start, like, not sleeping with multiple women. You didn't just stop watching pornography. Something happened that made you didn't just stop doing drugs. Something got you away from that. And what is that process and what does it look like? You have to make it plain and simple and stop being difficult in our approach. We got to come to the realization. We got to take complex information and break it down to a molecule for people to understand, because if they don't, we're just going to keep running them away and they're going to go back to what they were doing before.
Wow.
So we have to get better at that.
And I think when it comes to that, learning what the process is, we have to be transparent. You know, when you are slipping or you're tripping, like, you should be able to be approached by, let's say you approach me. I'm not, like, I think the toughest part is when you start doing that, like, people are quick to be like, oh, you can't call me out about my plank. You got a plank in your own eye. Okay, pause for a second. I get what you're saying, but let's be able to talk this out, you know? Because the thing is, you could get deep into the word. You could, like, just dive into the word, but then start to become numb to who people are, you know? Because then you become the Pharisee that's so obsessed.
It's so funny
you get so obsessed with the word. You start breaking down. You're like, this is the Greek of this and blah, blah, blah. And you start... This is facts. Facts don't have feelings. You know what I mean? But, like, you know what I mean? Like, pause for a second. Think about who you're talking to. Think about the person behind what is going on.
Yeah.
And you know, it all relates, because I think when you start to get in your head about who you think you are, and you think you're 100% sure of who you are, that's when you start getting furthest from God.
Right. That's when you lose. As a man increaseth in knowledge, he increases sorrow. It hurts to know the truth. And that's why a lot of people don't want the truth, because it hurts. And it's so easy to put expectations on other people. But when the expectation is put on you, and you have to, we don't want to have that conversation. What about when the expectation is put on you to change? And it's like, we have to become better, man. We have to become more transparent with people, but do it in love. Whatever you're going to do it in love.
And that's the biggest factor in it, is doing it in love. You know, what really hurts me, like, personally right now, and because I go into spirals, because I start seeing what the media is doing. I start seeing what is going on, and how things get brushed under the rug. And I think that's the biggest pain right there for me, is seeing stuff like, you know, billionaires like Jeffrey Epstein getting, you know, away with stuff. You know what I mean? You know, all the crazy, like, I watched a documentary on it, and it blew my mind, the stuff that he was doing. And I don't know how deep you've heard about it.
I haven't even got into it. But I mean, to anyone like that, man, we have to let God deal with them.
Yeah.
Because if I say what I think, it's not going to be good.
Oh yeah, yeah.
We have to let everybody has their place. Everybody has to be dealt with by God, not by us.
Yeah, yeah. And honestly, you know, just to brush on what he was doing, he was sex trafficking. You know what I mean? And that's just keeping it as PG as possible. And that hurt me, because I have a daughter. You know what I mean? I have a daughter, and she's about to turn 12 this year. And I'm thinking, man, like, you know, guys are really into this type of stuff. And there's sickos out in the world. You know what I mean? And I'm worried that, you know, who knows, like, if this becomes a new normal, you know what I mean? And even speaking out against it, I think some people are calling us, you know, calling Christians crazy for speaking out against this type of stuff. And it makes me sad. It makes me sad. I mean,
I think they're calling everybody crazy for speaking out about it, you know? Like, we have, as a country, man, we have to stop brushing things under the rug. Like, not to just switch the topic up, but even racism, until we admit that we have that issue, we can never fix it. We can never fix it until we admit that. We cannot move forward. And you can say that black people are violent, but you took us away from our homeland. You taught us how to be violent, but now you tell us to don't be violent when you taught us that.
You know, and it's like It makes me sad, because you also got things like Planned Parenthood, that literally was founded on trying to decrease the urban communities, placing abortion clinics in those areas and pubs, so that people would be killed, or like they like the babies are like killed, because it's like, you're putting them in that situation. Kanye says, you know, it's sad that I cry about this and they say I'm crazy. You know, that to me, that's scary, you know? Yeah. When he's like, yo, he says, I could have been aborted, but my mom saved my life.
We all could have been.
You know, because of where we grew up, or where we, you know, I know it's difficult, and I'm not really trying to make this a political thing in the sense of like it's just conservative or just a liberal thing. Right. This is not what I'm doing here. I'm saying when things are wrong, we have to stand up for them. You know what I mean? And that's the thing. I feel like the media wants to divide you as a liberal or conservative, and wants to put you in a box so that, okay, well, if you're a liberal, you believe these things. Oh, if you're a conservative, you believe these things. You know, you're telling me that the only choice I got on for president is either Donald Trump, a billionaire known for screwing over billions of people and billions of jobs, like through all of his companies, and then the other option is Joe Biden, who's creepy.
You know,
you know what I mean? Like, these are the only two options they give us. You know,
I totally agree with you. I think, you know, my perspective with that is that, you know, being a believer, God is in control. Like, and I'm not just saying that. That's how I live my life. It doesn't. Does it really matter who the president is? Does that really change our relationship with God? It doesn't. It doesn't at all. Like, unless you let it. I think what we really need to focus on is who is the president in our house? Who's the negotiator in our house? We're so consumed with the media, multi-ethnic destruction in America. We're so consumed with that we don't even know what's going on in our own homes, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that it's not important. It's very important. But before we speak out about how we feel about other things, we have to come to the realization that, hey, I got to take care of what's going on in my home. So I'm always quick to realize when I'm having these conversations with people and my wife, they're like, hey, we have to take care of us first.
Yeah.
God, everybody has to be dealt with, like I said before.
And 100% I agree with you. I mean, we have to keep control of our house, what we let into our lives, whether it's constructive or destructive, you know. Shout out to everyone that's tuned in online as well. Matt Taylor, what up? But I just wanted to be mindful of who we are in this day and age, because it's tough, man. Yeah. It's tough because you have so many things pulling you in so many different directions.
Yeah.
You watch TV shows, and even now the TV shows have an agenda that they're trying to make you believe and make you see and literally sway your opinion.
That's a big reason, man, why I named the song Trap Regret. You know, trapping is a slang term for selling drugs, but also it's a double meaning for, like, don't be trapped by regret. We all have regrets. Just don't be trapped by them.
Oh, yeah. And so when we talk about, like, your music and everything that you're doing, so you also wrote Fantasyland. That's more about social media, right? Yeah. So let's talk about that. Let's dive into that.
So my biggest struggle that I used to have with social media was that I would go on social media, and when I got off, I would feel about this small, and I would feel so inadequate. But the truth is that it's an illusion. It's a mistaken perception of reality. You're comparing your life to somebody's highlight reel. Everybody's not winning. Everybody's not winning. It's people struggling just like you, addicted just like you. And that song is really saying that, hey, we're all on the evil playing field. But we have to become, like, more honest. So social media to me is a mission field. To somebody else, it might be a sense of validation. If you never got validation growing, especially, and I'm a feminist, I love my women, but if you never got that validation from your father, or maybe you didn't have a father, social media will manipulate you into thinking that everybody loves you.
Oh, yeah.
When nobody really loves you. 90% of your engagement probably are people who you don't even know. And if you die tomorrow, you will become another hashtag that they wouldn't even retweet.
Yep.
And so that song Fantasyland, you know, that was a very hard song to write, because I just remember just feeling so inadequate when I got off social media. And it just makes you think that you have these real supporters and these real fans that really care about you, but it's the furthest thing from the truth. There are some legitimate people who do, but the truth is that it's not real. It's all a game. And the moment you get caught up in the likes and the comments and shares, it becomes like this contest instead of being a place of encouragement. That's when I think of my page, I want to make it a place of encouragement, not a place where people feel defeated because I'm posting the I don't know, a new Ferrari, which I don't have, but you can go get your homeboy's Ferrari these days, and people will believe it. And it's making everybody feel small. And it's just, oh my man, it's how you use social media. You have the choice to say, hey, if something comes up on your timeline, it might not be, the most healthiest thing, but you do have a choice how long you look at it, whether you block it, whether you comment on it, whether you like it. So it's not social media, it's us. Anytime anything is not used within its intended purpose, it will lead to its abuse. So we're just using it wrong.
Oh yeah, and even to dive in deeper in that, we think about Jesus and what he would say. He would say, if your eye causes you to stumble, take it out.
Not
if
literally.
your hand, I know, and I say that because he said that, and of course there's those special people that were just like, what? I gotta take my eye out? Like, I understand, but like, if your hand causes you to stumble, chop it off. He was being literal, like he was trying to share his metaphors so that we could understand that it's what we're putting into us. You know, the eyes are the window of the soul.
Right.
There's power and life in your tongue. So every time you get online, if you want to sit there and the only time you comment on your friends' photos is to hate on them or to tell them they're wrong or to tell them why they shouldn't be posting that, I don't think your heart's in the right place. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The only time you comment on somebody's stuff is to judge them, your heart is definitely not in the right place. But also, speaking of that, I got a job outside of social media. I have a whole family. I don't have time to sit on social media and comment on everything you do. It doesn't mean I don't support you if I don't comment or
That's
share
another thing.
your post. No, I know legit because I work at a recording studio. Plus, shout out to Plush Recording Studios.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of artists that come through, and I speak to them about this, and they say, hey man, with you being an artist, but you're also a full-time audio engineer, how do you deal with, if your clients don't share your stuff? It's like, yo, I mean, dude, they have jobs outside of social media.
Exactly.
They're not sitting waiting to comment and share my stuff.
Well, and that goes to the music community. I laugh because the music community cracks me up.
Oh Lord.
The music community. So I'm a rapper. You're a rapper, and we know each other. Am I sharing every single one of your singles?
No, of course not.
Are you sharing every single one of my singles?
No.
It's not gonna make or break my day if you don't like my song. That's perfectly fine. And I'm not trying to be a jerk or like say, bro, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I know I have the platform with the hype. So with me, I choose to support other artists.
Right.
So, when Delory dropped his Feel Good video today, I was like, let's put it on. That's my boy. But the thing is, if my boy was putting out a music video and it was whack, it wouldn't be on this on this show. Yeah, and that's just me being 100% real. You know what I mean?
It is what it is.
And so for me, it's like, even if your song is 100% amazing and I don't like it, it's not my job to promote you. You know what I mean?
Right.
And the thing is, you gotta look as an artist for networking outside of your friends and family. So you could share it with your friends, you could share it with your family, but they do not have to support you.
And the truth is this: why do you want to share music with your friends and with your family? They know that you. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't necessarily care if like I know my people support me. They don't have to share and they don't have to like everything. I'm not trying to reach them. Like, who are you trying to reach? What is your target demographic? Like, who are the people that you're trying to reach? And once you know that, it's like, I don't care about reaching my friends and my family no more. Yo, social media is really destroying a lot of people. They have these preconceived notions in their head that when they create something that, because we're cool, I'm supposed to share it, or if I like it. But first of all, if it's not in line with who I am as a person, I'm definitely not sharing it on my page. Definitely not. And it's no offense to you. it's just not in line with my purpose. So why would I share something? A lot of people are sharing things out of obligation. You don't even like it. Why would you share it? Why? Nobody has a gun to you. I hope nobody has a gun to your head saying, hey man, share this song.
Exactly. And I think when it comes to that, I mean, it's a good example is who you are. So you're a recording engineer for a secular recording studio.
Yeah.
That's perfectly fine. And you do Christian music. That's what you do. They don't have to share your Christian music. And the other way around, you don't have to share their cursing music. You know what I mean? Like, they're gonna be cursing and all this stuff, and you're on your Christian page, and you're supposed to share their stuff that's cursing. Nah, like, you gotta respect the audience at least.
Music is music, man. As long as it's good music, good positive substance, something that connects with me, because it doesn't necessarily have to be Christian. If it's a good positive message or substance, I'll share it. But if it's something that I wouldn't probably let my my wife listen to, I'm probably not going to share it. I don't listen to a lot of music that's derogatory, that's degrading women. I need something. I'm at the point in my life where I need something for my spirit. I don't need anything for my flesh anymore to just make me feel good for the moment. I need something that's going to get me through these hard days, and I can't do that if I'm just constantly sharing music that doesn't connect with me spiritually and who I am.
Yeah, I mean, and the way I can like go back on that, the way I think of it is like, so when you're in your 20s, right? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, and you're in your early 20s. Let's say you just got out of high school, go to college. You eating junk food, you eating pizza, you eating everything. Taco Bell. You know what I mean? And as you get older, those same foods you love, they start giving you heartburn. They start giving you gas. Ooh. They start giving you start getting lactose intolerant. You start getting all these things.
But that's so deep, even on a spiritual level. When your physical eye is seeing things, it's locking into your subconscious. And now you're acting out these things consciously. And you don't understand, why am I changing? Oh, why am I still addicted to that? Why am I still doing that? I don't want to do that. But it's what you're putting your eyes on. We're spiritual beings.
Yep.
Super beings, if you ask me. Created in the image of God. And to think that you could just watch something and it doesn't affect you on a spiritual, mental, and emotional level, that's crazy. Everything that you see is either detrimental or it's healthy.
Bro, and that's where it comes into, as you get older, you start to change your diet. You know what I mean? You start, if you're smart. If not, then obviously that's where you're at. It doesn't make, if you want to do that to yourself, that's one thing, but the thing is, that's, people end up making changes later in their lives. They start changing, their diet, they start, running, they start exercising. And that's when and that's, you could be the fitness person at 20 years old, that's like the comparison to the people that are like, let's say they have been a runner their whole life. They've been an athlete their whole life, and that's like the Pharisee. That's like, I've been an athlete my whole life. I've been eating good, and then the moment they eat something bad, then is everyone around is looking at them like they crazy.
In the same, you're talking about like physically working out. Yeah, and I'm just gaining all this revelation. Like, spiritual working out is the same. Mm-hmm. You're not just, I can't just spiritually work out for one day or for 1 week and then expect to have peace that surpasses all understanding. It doesn't work like that. If you take a month physically from the gym, you're going to look different. As it is in the physical, so it is in the spiritual. But guess what? You got muscle memory. For those who've been working out for a long time, you got muscle memory. And you know what starts happening? Maybe you could take a month from the gym and it doesn't affect you as much because you've been working out so much. Mm-hmm. That's the same thing with spirituality, muscle memory.
And then that's where you get deeper. You let's say you work harder, you get deeper in the word, you start learning a little bit more. And that's the thing. but don't become one of those gym guys that says, you know, this is my life. You can't, you know, what you're doing is wrong.
Right.
And that's the thing with Christ and all the changes that he does in your life, you know, whether it be physical, spiritual, like we talk about this because it's a race, you know what I mean? It's a marathon. You know, there is a goal in mind. Mm-hmm. And the thing is, yes, we may miss the mark. We're going to miss it. But it doesn't mean to stop running.
Right. Try to hit it again the next day.
Keep going. Keep moving.
The next day.
Because the thing is, you can't sit here and make excuses.
Right.
And I feel like that's another people who get hurt from the church. They're like, oh, well, everyone's a hypocrite. I don't want to go there if they're a hypocrite. Well, you know what? You're a hypocrite at the same time because you know the truth and you're choosing to live something else.
And the truth is this, man. The church is equivalent to a hospital. We got different floors. Different doctors.
Yep.
People are on different spiritual levels.
And we all know these doctors and nurses are still getting COVID. So you can't be immune to something that's in your own church. So don't be expecting the people high up to be perfect all the time either. And it's the expectation mark. But what I want to do is give you a chance to shout out anybody, throw out your Insta and all your social, and then we'll close the show with Fantasyland.
Thank you for having me, man. Thank you for having me. So shout out to my boy Young JC who featured on the song. Amazing artist, man. And I just feel like I'm really connected to him, like to help guide him as he is connected to me and to help guide me. And I don't do a lot of features. That's why I really wanted to do the song with him. Just shout out to everybody who's just been along in my journey, you know. My wife, Marisha McFadden, my daughter, Soraya Veronica, you know, just everybody who's been with me on my journey, because it hasn't been easy. But I just thank God for my strong praying family. I thank God for my friends who don't let me just say that I'm going to do something and then they don't put that pressure on me to actually do it, you know. So shout out to everybody, man. Trap Regret is out right now. Follow me on Instagram at Made_music. Follow me on Facebook at Made_music. Follow me on YouTube at Made. Trap Regret just dropped. Go get that. I appreciate our support. Love y'all, man.
Yeah. So we're going to close out the show with Fantasyland. Thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you follow us on Facebook, YouTube, all of our platforms. RadioUNT.net is streaming constantly. Dope music, hip-hop, EDM, urban music, reggaeton. They got you. Somos diferentes. Shout out to Miguel. We out, y'all. Take it easy. Have a safe weekend.
Yeah.
Can you smile for the camera flick? I will never ever be a perfect pick. Perfection, they sell us. And we know who we are, it's nothing you can't tell us. Why do I always have to be the good fella? I know how you feel. Like half of what you see is real. It's your choice, take the red or blue pill. God, feel the same way you feel. Like half of what you see is real. This cold world gave me chills. They do it all for the thrill. Ooh, yeah. Why would you not be you? It can never be two. Look inside yourself. That's all you need for proof. Why you always tagging me? We all know I like this never what we make it seem. You flexing on the gram and tagging me. Our life is never what we make it seem. If I share it, it don't mean I'm on the team. It is not what you think, it's a dream. I've been so lost in my head. To show the real me, I'm so scared. And you know, I've been looking for you. I didn't know you would be someone new. You've been right here, you've been right here, you've been right here. You've been right here, you've been right here, you've been right here. And I found you finally. And I won't let you leave. about you glow. If you DM me and I don't text you back, I got a life outside here.